I'm good.
Okay. Let's see, because you guys are actually right here in the front, you get the lucky job of passing them out to your classmates. That's so fun, I know. You want to go ahead and pass them on each side of the classroom? I know, it's a celebratory moment. Alrighty, so you've already heard us talk about it, and you've already heard us, discuss a few things about them. But today we're going to talk about semicolons. Yay! I know it's not that exciting, but they'll appear in your lifetime, and so I'm going to teach them to you so that when you use them, you're not going to be like, what is this again? What am I doing? I don't know what this weird punctuation mark is. So when all the papers get passed out, we'll go ahead and get started in the semi-lesson of our semicolons. Before, my name is Miss Hollingsworth. You've heard me speak up. You've seen me stand up here. I'll go and thank you so much. But you actually haven't had me as a teacher yet. More people need them. We'll get them have extras. Can I give that to them? Thank you. Are there enough there? Or do we need one more? We're good? Okay. Okay, thank you. So, on top of those papers, you guys go ahead and put your name and the date. I don't know all your names, but I know the date is 10/10/19. Hopefully I get to know your names by the end of the year, if anything. Okay, so I see all the eyes are up already. So, what is a semicolon is like the first big question. As you all know, they are already, yes.
It's a little dot with a comma.
Basically it, you got like the first thing correct. A semicolon is a punctuation mark. It is stronger than a comma, but it's less permanent than a period. So it's basically like a halfling of the punctuation marks. You could see the comma part and then you can see the period at the top. So half and half, okay? So we all know now what it is, but when do we actually use it? What's its purpose in life? We need to find meaning for a semicolon. So right here, when should I use a semicolon? So when you use a semicolon, the first big thing that you're going to see, you use it when connecting two related independent clauses or phrases. Does everyone know what an independent clause is? It's not Santa. I promise you, it's not Santa.
Sure.
Yes.
It's like a part of a sentence that doesn't need it, like that doesn't need another part of the whole sentence.
Right, it can be a standalone sentence. So for example, I like cats is an independent clause. If I said, because I like cats, it's kind of open-ended, you feel like I need to finish the sentence, that's a dependent clause. So you use a semicolon to connect two independent clauses or phrases. So, I like cats. Cats are black. You put a semicolon between them. And we'll see more examples throughout this little mini lesson here. The second time you might use a semicolon is when you're creating lists with additional and sometimes unnecessary information. So basically when you're describing things and then you give a little tad bit more information on them is when you use a semicolon. And again, you'll see some examples of semicolon. You guys seem really interested in semicolon usage. Alrighty, and then the last and final one we're going to cover today is when a sentence already seems really littered with commas and other punctuation marks. You can use the semicolon to separate it and bring a little pizzazz into your sentence. Don't just use it willy-nilly, don't just throw it in there because you want to use it. Use it with purpose. So some examples of the semicolon that I have already discussed with you guys. The first one you can see on your paper says, I really like trick-or-treating. Semicolon. I am going to be a vampire. So why can we use a semicolon here per se? Yes.
Because they're both independent clauses.
Exactly. Like we already discussed. Alright, so the second one is a little bit longer, but we'll go through that one. So when you go to the store, make sure you get pumpkins, which are for carving, semicolon, apples, which are for the pie, semicolon, and candy. So here we use a semicolon multiple times because we have a list of items but rather than just being just like 3 items, we added a little additional information on each of those items. So you see here on your paper, it says pumpkins, which are for carving, and then apples, which are for the pie. So we have that additional information with those separate items. And then that final one, some children like to eat Hershey's, Twix, or Snickers for Halloween, semicolon. But others, for different reasons, choose to eat fruit. So we have the semicolon there separating our list of items and another independent clause if we took away that conjunction word. I don't know if you guys have covered conjunctions yet. I see the fanboys on the board there, but I'm not totally sure, so we're not going to go into conjunctions yet. But as we can see, there are a lot of commas throughout it, and so when we added that semicolon, it separates that super long sentence, and then it doesn't seem like we're being redundant or, going all the way along with the sentence. So a quick tip on semicolons before we get into practicing using them. When you use it with independent clauses, make sure that those 2 independent clauses right here on your paper, they're together, but we have them actually separate on my little screen here. So incorrectly to use a semicolon with independent clauses, I like bats, semicolon, dogs are cute. Those are 2 different related sentences, and therefore you shouldn't use a semicolon. Instead, I would use a comma. So when you use that, take away that dot of the semicolon. And then right here at the bottom, or on your paper, it says correct. I like bats, semicolon, they can fly. So because these 2 sentences are related, we can add the semicolon. But if they weren't related, they didn't have any, identical or related meaning, we do not use a semicolon. So that is a huge tip to remember. Quick tip. So let's practice together on semicolons. I'm actually going to have a few volunteers read these sentences, and if you want, you can give me the answer. If not, I'll ask another student. So who wants to read the first sentence for me? Yes.
Halloween is my favorite holiday. Semicolon. You get a lot of it.
Correct. And why do we use the semicolon in that one?
Because you wouldn't put a comma, which just doesn't do it because you need a conjunction.
Right. What's another reason why we might use a semicolon rather than a comma? Yes.
Because they're both independent clauses.
Right. They're related independent clauses. So Halloween and candy kind of go together. Makes sense. All right. Number 2, who wants to read it for me? Pink. Yes.
My stomach hurts. I ate too much candy.
Alrighty. So is it a semicolon or a comma? What is it? Comma? It could be, but why do you think we might choose a semicolon instead? Yes. Independent clauses, are they related? Yeah. So, maybe the person in that sentence stomach hurts because they ate the too many candy, pieces, maybe too many Snickers or, Twix. Maybe they're feeling sad, but, it's fine. So semicolon's the right answer. So circle that or highlight it for you guys. Third one, who wants to read it for me? Yes.
Because I'm scared of the dark comma, I don't like tradition.
Why are we using a comma instead of a semicolon? Yeah. Go ahead and answer.
Because they're not independent clauses.
Right. So that first sentence, it would sound weird if you just left it at that, right? It could have put a period at the end of dark. That would be really weird, right? Yes. You want to read the next sentence? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. My brother has been a Power Ranger, Black Panther, and Spider for Halloween. And I don't know.
You don't know? All right, continue reading the sentence. We'll have someone else